welcome to Hilda's Place, where art lives.
Thank you.
Aaron Patterson.
Hilda Willis.
Michaela Nolan.
Mama Hilda.
You all are making history. I had not considered doing a show with young people. I only was going to do a show with established artists who I knew were ready to work or already working. And it occurred to me when we did our jam session, February? And I was looking at the promo. I said, I gotta have you two on the show. Everybody wanted to know, well, who was that guy and who was that girl?
That was a good vibe.
It was a good
was a
vibe.
good vibe.
And you all deserve to be here.
Thank you.
Yes,
You
thank
all
so
are
much.
on it, doggone it. I've known you all for how long?
3 years.
3 years?
2 for me.
2 for you?
Yes.
What show?
2 trains.
2 Trains Running
By August Wilson.
by August Wilson. Then Cinderella. Cinderella.
Yes.
And last but not least, the Addams Family musical, the concert version.
Yes.
Wow, so I love you all so much.
We love
love
you.
you more.
We love you.
Let's talk a little bit about why you think you're really here at this table. What is it about what I do, whether it's as Hilda Willis, as Living Your Art, or now Hilda's Place? What do you have in common with prior guests?
Okay, I'll go. I think the thing that we have in common with your other guests and why we're here, period, is our hunger and the want to grow, to be better, to live in our art, and to have connections like Hilda Willis. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thank you for your honesty. I am a connection.
Yes.
You're one of the biggest.
And to piggyback off of that, I think that we have the passion and that
Yes.
drives us to want to grow more than anything. And growth is what we speak of on a daily basis. So I feel like the desire to grow is something that pushes us really far.
Thank you. I want to share with the audience that you all go to Tri-Cities Performing Arts Magnet
Yes.
High School. I think I
Yes.
said that right.
Yes.
Well, what's the full name?
Tri-Cities High
Uh-oh.
School.
The Tri-Cities High School Visual and Performing Arts
Yes,
Magnet Program.
yes.
Almost alumni.
Right, you're graduating seniors.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that you two are the only ones that have done what you've done with me. But the thing that impressed me the most is not the work you did with me when I was guest director at your school. It's answering the call beyond those walls to work with me in other situations.
Yes.
It is not, we are people of color, wonderful colors.
Yes.
And we emote and express ourselves loudly, boldly. And sometimes when we are not fully developed socially, we don't know how to interact with other people of non-color who express themselves in a different way.
Yes.
I
You
agree.
all have collaborated with me on 2 major projects where you were the minority on those projects, but at Tri-Cities you are the majority.
Yes.
Yes.
And you all have created your own following amongst your peers across greater Atlanta. That's amazing.
Well, I never thought about it like that.
Me either.
I mean, so give yourselves a hand. Give them a hand. Tell me what it is you want to be doing when you're 50.
You want to take that first?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
When I'm 50, I want to direct, but I also want to have businesses that support the youth because I feel like that's a lesson I just recently learned a lot about. So at 50, I want to have multiple businesses supporting the youth, and I want to direct.
Got it. Thank you, ma'am. At 50,
I definitely want to direct.
do.
I want to direct, I want to produce, I want to create,
Yes.
I want to write. But more importantly, I do agree with Michaela that the youth is so important to the art and we have to make sure that the art survives, because I think the art is so healing, especially to youth, because the world changes, and I've said this before, the world changes at the same rate for the elderly, the middle-aged,
Yes.
and the youth. So the youth are seeing the same things that the elderly are seeing, but they're seeing it through youth eyes. So it can taint them a different kind of way.
Yes.
And so they need to speak on that through art.
Through art.
And I think that's very important.
Yes.
Well, if you two are willing, if just you two are willing to impact as many people as you will, that's going to be a huge feat. Because you've been impacted by your elders. So just imagine how many other young people you can empower and impact. So you know what? I don't know if you know it or not, but you two are going to be connected for a very long time.
I know
feel
it.
I feel it. Don't make me cry.
Don't make me cry. Okay. So we are going to end this segment in about 1 minute.
Okay.
What I want you to think about is questions that you may have for me.
Okay.
And we may pull some audience members in. Who knows? You don't ever know what I'm going to do.
Okay.
But so you are in a coaching session live and in color in front of a studio audience.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. So I want you to think about, just don't ask me anything personal, because we're not doing that. Okay. You can ask me anything about my career, the business. So think about what that is.
Okay.
And you all will be performing.
Yes.
Yes.
And so we will have a microphone
Okay.
and we'll be ready for you.
All right.
Cool.
But on this break, they're going to shift things around and then we're going to sit on the couch and get down with the get down.
Cool.
All right. We'll be back. You're probably the hungriest young woman I have seen in years.
Oh, God.
There was a point in my career that I didn't even work with any woman between 18 and 30. And I probably took that position for at least 10 years. Many times we get stuck in the conversations that we've grown up with, whether we realize it or not. And my heart was broken by about 3 young women who were fiercely talented because they would not do the work. And I had invested so much time and energy. And in every single one of those situations, one was in California, one was in New York, one was in North Carolina. And all 3, a man is the reason that they stopped doing what they said they wanted to do. And I've been doing this a long time. There are very few young women that I meet that are so focused on what it is that they want that going after it kills anything that's trying to distract them. You are one of those young ladies.
Thank you.
Can I tell a little bit of your story?
Yes, you can.
When I casted Cinderella, Michaela wasn't casted. She wanted to audit the process. She sat in chairs behind everyone else in the ensemble. She sat in her vocal section. She learned every note. I kept hearing this first soprano who, if a second soprano was off, was singing second soprano. And I'm like, who is that? Who is that child right there? And she sat there. I don't know how many weeks in before I said, move up to ensemble. Not only did she get in the show, she passed ensemble into playing a major role. Because she was so determined, she wasn't going to let not getting the audition mess with her ego and her self-confidence to the point where a lot of grown people do this too. But I see a lot of young people, they just get mad and they get upset and I wasn't casted, and they just take themselves out. She had the respect enough to ask, because she'd be in the process. She didn't even take for granted that she could be in the process. And then she sat behind everybody and let her voice speak for her work speak for her. I would take this one anywhere. I don't know where you got that from, but baby, don't let anybody take it from you, right? Because your heart, there are a lot of talented people in the world, but your integrity and your commitment will take you anywhere you want to go. And if somebody doesn't like you or appreciate you for a positive position that you take or for your hard work, let the doorknob hit them with a good Lord split 'em. Okay. But I don't know. I thank your mother and your father and whoever raised you, because you got some good stuff in you.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. Are we ready, sir? Oh, Lord, child. Wow. So before we went on the break, I asked you to think about questions that you want to ask me or possibly someone in the audience. We've been talking the whole time, so I don't know if you had time to think of anything, but now is your time to, there's probably, if I were to look and count really quickly, I know just about everybody in the audience, I would say there's at least 1,000 years of experience in the room. So I invite you to think about your village and your community that way. There's 1,000 years of combined wisdom in the room. And 500 of those years are artistic years.
Okay.
So you can ask me or you can put a question out, and if someone wants to address it, they can.
Cool.
Okay.
I have a very ambiguous question.
Okay.
I don't know if it has one straight answer. I just want to know, it pertains to college and then after college as well. Within picking your school, how much of it should be necessity as financial and where it is and what it could give you, and how much of it, of your choice, I'm saying, is, I know this is the school for me?
It's not ambiguous, but there are many different answers depending on the person. So I always say that learning is limitless, but it's also very personal.
Okay.
So I think it's fine to have your dream schools, if you will. I think part of it is understanding why it's your dream school. There are many people that will pick a school because someone else went there and they're successful. Mm-hmm. They don't necessarily do the research. I'll tell any student, whatever school you're looking at, look at the faculty. Mm-hmm. Look to see if the faculty has been there for 30 years. They may not be up on their information. They may, but they may not. Mm-hmm. A good school is going to have a bio for you to read on the instructors. Okay. You all are in this new age of technology. Google them. You want to know who is going to be influencing your brain. Your brain is still growing. You want to know who is making deposits and what they possibly will deposit. When you go on your college tours, you know, they're nicely packaged tours, but you can also call a school, make your appointment, audit a class. You're making a huge investment. Most people will pay for undergrad, and if they're lucky, they won't pay for graduate. Mm-hmm. But it's a huge financial commitment. So I want to say that first. Second of all, many people find themselves in a situation where the school that wants them, they don't want that school. So you have to ask yourself, are you the type of individual that can do well in a big school where you're just a number? You've got that breakthrough personality, that breakthrough charm. You're so solid on what you're bringing that you won't be lost. Mm-hmm. Some people, I say, do better in being in a smaller school where they can reach stardom quickly. And when I say stardom, I'm not talking about entertainment, financial. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about so they can be seen. So do you want to be a name or do you want to be a number?
Okay. That's big.
You have to have an assessment of where you are, and you need to get that information from other people, because we are all legends in our own minds. Okay? You need to get a true assessment from someone who has been watching you develop. Other times you may need to do strategies like go to this school for 2 years, strengthen whatever needs to be strengthened, and then transfer. You know, we grow up thinking you have to go to the same university for 4 years. Nobody, well, I shouldn't say nobody, that's an absolute. Very few people graduate in 4 years of college now. Most people end up taking longer. But I think the most important thing is no matter where you go, look to see what the resources are at that school, and you need a strategic plan from day one all the way through. Look beyond the college walls. What's in the community? What can you be involved in? I'm going to ask Aaron to come up here if you don't mind.
How you doing?
But I'm doing exactly what I want to do. I would definitely say, whatever it is, don't wait until a professor tells you that this is what you should be doing. You should do it as soon as you find that school.